I think she should have been on the team too. But definitely Caitlin Clark. Now, I didn't quite understand how you bench Diana Taurasi. How you can't find any time for one of the greatest players ever, who can shoot, by the way.
Renowned sports writer Stephen A. Smith had disclosed startling information on Caitlin Clark's new European deal.
And we're just so proud and privileged to be here, and I'm honored to be up with these two very special people who are leaving their imprint all over the world of culture these days. Thank you. So, now our master of ceremonies today is not going to be me. It's going to be Mr. Stephen A. Smith. And when I asked him if he would come out here to be a part of our special homecoming, wasn't even a hesitation, because of two words: Caitlin Clark. So with that and all the love we're feeling out here, I'm going to let Stephen kick it off and get to some interviewing, which he does so well with Caitlin.
Well, first of all, what's up, everybody? What's up? We all know I'm many things, but I ain't a liar. This lady right here, Caitlin Clark, is my favorite college basketball player in the world. She is something special. And Caitlin, I'm just gonna start because they wanna hear from you, obviously. You know, it's when you see this crowd out here, knowing they're out here for you, what does it feel like for you to be a part of this and to be such a leading voice and face on this campus?
Yeah, that's the reason I came here, is because of crowds like this. So thank you guys for coming. Maybe if it's not for me, it's for Stephen A., the man. But no, that's why I chose Iowa, but also I'm an Iowa kid. I grew up here. I grew up rooting for the Hawkeyes. I grew up 2 hours from this place, so it's really special to me. And you know, my first year here was COVID, and it was really different, but now here I get to experience it with all of you. We're gonna play in front of 15,000 people every single game this year. Sold out crowd, yeah. 50,000 people for the crossover at Kinnick next Sunday, so...
WNBA fans who don't want their favorite player to leave the league have been stunned by the revelation. Despite being a rookie, Caitlin Clark has been a force to be reckoned with in the league this season. Now, she has received an enticing contract offer from Europe, so it shouldn't come as a surprise if the Indiana Fever point guard leaves for Europe.
3 people. Okay. One is the fan that videoed that Chicago Sky game. The other, who was the young lady that took video during COVID, when the men had this weight room available to them, and they had...
There you go, Stephen A. Yep.
Her.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Right there. Right there. That girl right there. That's who deserves it. That's her. Right there. Give her credit. Her. And last but not least, Caitlin Clark. Mm-hmm. Ladies, let me tell y'all something. You got to sit up there and pay attention to the rising tide. It lifts all boats. You can go out on the court and go at Caitlin Clark with the fierceness that your competitive juices demand. But in the process of doing that, you learn to love that girl. That girl went up in her press conference and said and spoke about flying commercial. Mm-hmm. They didn't sit up there and make this decision until after she said that. You understand? Now everybody want to sit up there and talk about, oh my God, why did it have to come to that? Damn it, forget all that. She did it. She didn't have to, but she did. She got her contract. She getting her bag. She got her endorsement deal, but she looked at...
In addition to her $76,000 WNBA salary from her contract with the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark has an 8-year, $28 million contract with Nike that earns her $3.5 million annually. She also has agreements with State Farm Insurance, where she appears in national advertisements for Gatorade. Although the precise number of Wilson Gainbridge Zinity and Buick agreements is unknown, she probably makes millions from them as well.
I think that Dawn Staley perfectly encapsulated everything. She said, you are one of the GOATs
of this game. Because of her impact and her greatness, she definitely deserves and warrants that level of respect. Devoid of a title, she basically deserves that level of respect because she basically put the sport on its shoulders and uplifted the sport. We can't take that away from her. But I'm going to tell you what's interesting, and nobody has brought this up. I'm going to bring this up, okay? You know, one of the things we didn't talk about was what happened Friday night. That damn call by that official with 3.9 seconds left that gave, that helped. Now, I'm not going to sit up there and tell you that it was the wrong call. I just hate the fact that the call was made at that particular moment in time. You want to definitively see the players decide it as opposed to the officials, even though technically speaking, it seemed to be the right call, although not in the moment, but then you watch the replay over and over again, not in real time, and you say, okay, you can understand how that call was made. So none of us brought that up. Here's why I'm bringing it up now. One of the greats is like, yo, we gonna see when you get here, how it's gonna be different. Now she said that, and I'm saying to you, that does give Caitlin Clark an opportunity to show, excuse me, yeah, it is different. And the level that I've entered is different, and the support I'm gonna have is different. So guess what? More might be coming. When we see that, if we see that, we might be talking about her in an even more elevated light.
I think the reason why players like, sorry, Shannon, really quick,
go ahead.
Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird say this is because a lot of people have experienced the women's basketball season from the context of the last 2 years.
She is not required to travel abroad to play during the 6-month break before the next WNBA season begins. But even though WNBA salaries have increased recently, it has long been insufficient for players to support themselves, particularly with agent fees, extra training, and proper nutrition. As a result, even elite players like Diana Taurasi, Breanna Stewart, Alyssa Thomas, and Sue Bird have traveled abroad where salaries are typically much higher to supplement their incomes. In 2015, Taurasi earned $1.5 million from UMK in Karnberg, Russia.
Even after 20 years, they can't get enough of it. One more year echoing throughout the arena. When you feel that love, what thoughts and emotions flow through you?
Yeah, I just got out of the locker room and I was talking to BG, and I'm like, there's still days where I'm like, I can still do this. I still want to play basketball. And then there's, the flip side where there are days where I'm crawling out of bed. I think the tide turned, obviously, when Matt and Josh said this in the picture. I think they just completely changed how people feel about this franchise. Obviously, with the Mercury and the Suns, and what we were able to do in the offseason with Nick as our new GM, hiring Nate. I think it's brought a different vision to our team going into the future. And obviously, the last couple seasons were difficult. And I think you can see this team and this franchise and what it means and what it stands for. And obviously, Tosh and Ka and Beck are a big part of the future going forward. What BG's been able to do here for the last 13 years, and she's going to step into the role of really being the person who represents this franchise, and the way she's done it has been amazing. And I think Sophie has really stepped up into that leadership role of, this is what it looks like to play in this building, to put that jersey on. So I think we're in a good place going forward regardless.
Diana, we saw fans crying in the stands. Yeah. How are you able to control your emotions throughout this whole game? I mean, seeing your family, seeing Sue, how are you able to keep it all together?
It's not easy, and I wasn't trying to fight any type of emotion or feel a certain way. I just kind of took it all in.
But she might be traveling abroad for reasons other than money. It can be a demanding life to always be on, and even the Indiana Fever's coach Christy Sides acknowledges that Clark has had a challenging season. She has endured a lot this season and has handled it in the most professional way possible. Caitlin Clark has been in the spotlight for almost a full year, going from her senior season at Iowa to her rookie year in Indiana in a matter of months. She hasn't had a break from playing elite basketball or from people watching her every move for 11 months.
I'm not pissed to the point where I'm annoyed and I'm going to call people out their names, or especially people that I love, like the person I'm about to talk about in a few minutes. But
certain things need to be corrected for the record. Because certain things people are just ill-informed about. And the publications that grab the headlines and try to manipulate things and make things seem as if there's something that they're not. I understand that some folks are desperate for clickbait. That's how they do it. They don't care about accuracy. They just care about talking shit and not knowing what the hell they're talking about. So I'm here for it. And that's fine, because that's one of the reasons I'm in good shape, because I don't hold stuff inside all the time and let stuff foment, and ultimately an implosion takes place. And I'm the one that suffers because I'm unhealthy. No, I believe, and as I've said this to family and friends throughout my life, I believe the best form of stress relief is reciprocation. When people stress you, stress the hell out of them. And that's how you'll alleviate your stress, because they'll know stress is coming down the pike and they won't want the damn trouble. So maybe they won't bring you trouble. But I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And it's regarding the subject of Caitlin Clark. For those of you who don't know, she's a former star at Iowa in college. Played in the national championship game before losing to South Carolina. She's number 1 overall pick for the WNBA draft. She is a special talent, to say the least, even though she's not having a special year, because the Indiana Fever are stinking up the joint. They've got the second worst record in the league. Only the Washington Mystics are worse, who are 0-8. The Indiana Fever are 0-9, but that's not the story involving Caitlin Clark and all the drama that surrounds her on this particular day.
Although Caitlin Clark had a slow start to the season, the 2024 Rookie of the Year returned to her dominant ways a few games into the season and turned around a struggling Indiana Fever team that had owned a lottery pick in the last 7 drafts and the first overall pick in the last 2. There is no doubting what Clark has done for Indiana Fever and the WNBA this season. She has brought so much to the league and proven to be the greatest rookie the league has ever seen.
When Ryan Ruocco said, Caitlin Clark is possessed, I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. At times, she was unconscious. For me, watching that game, it's one of those games where you can't even be mad. Like, you can't even be mad at Caitlin Clark. You can't hate on her. You can't say anything negative about the way she performed. There's not one thing you could take away from that and be like, oh, she was this, or oh, she didn't do that. She checked every single box. That's why Kim Mulkey hugged her so aggressively at the end of the game, because it's like, dang, you did great. I can't stand it, but I love you for it. Like, Kim Mulkey even gave her an aggressive hug when the game is over. That's how you know it was real. You know how you dap somebody up just aggressively because you're like, yeah, that was great. I can't stand you for it, but I can't say anything bad about it. She was poised. She was under control. She manipulated the defense left and right. She got to her spots. And for me, one of the biggest things, Stephen A., you mentioned drawing things out of other teammates that we didn't even know was there.
According to the WNBA's Fever-only trail defending champions, the Las Vegas Aces, and last year's runner-up, the New York Liberty, Indiana's average points scored per game jumped from 7th place last season to 3rd place in 2024. With an average of 19.2 points per game, Clark and Mitchell share the distinction as Indiana's top scorer. As a rookie, Clark also leads the team in assists and steals. As the first player to lead the WNBA in both categories, Clark leads the league in assists per game, 8.4, and three-pointers made, 122, in a single season, which is the second highest total ever. This season, Clark has committed 223 turnovers, which is 78 more than Alyssa Thomas, who is in 2nd place. This is the most turnovers a WNBA player has ever committed in a single season. Prior to the Olympic break in July, Clark set the record with 139.
I don't know, I think just getting some time to relax and reset, and then honestly just like getting in here and getting to work on some stuff that we probably haven't got to work on all year long, or just like, break down analytics and find ways that we have to improve. A lot of that is defensively for us. Like, we've done a pretty good job at scoring the ball. I think we score at 87 points a game. So just improving defensively, I think that's the biggest thing. And getting in here even on my own and working on some stuff that I want to work on. So all of that has been really good, honestly.
Is there some advantage to having like a practice day and sort of an in-between day? It's not sort of a constant grind right now. You can reset your brain just a little bit in these couple of weeks.
Yeah, we've had like the weekends off still. So like that's kind of been nice, where we go during the weeks and then you have the weekends off to kind of do what you need to do, whether that's, see family, see friends, work on things that you want to work on, improve on things that you want to improve on. So I think it's been good. You don't have to mentally prepare for games. That takes a lot of mental preparation. And It's mentally taxing at the same time. So just getting that reset has been really good for us. But it feels like, our next game is really right around the corner next week. So it comes fast. So we'll really pick it up here in the next week.
Is there an element where, okay, now we're ready to play, we're ready to get back to it now?
Yeah, I honestly kind of feel that already. I feel like I'm ready to get back out there and get playing, but that's probably because that's really all I've known over the course of the last, year. So I feel like I'm kind of at that point.
What did you personally learn in the first half of the season that you can take into the second half?
I mean, I think a lot. I think it's just like continuing to adjust to this game. It's a lot different than a college game. Learning it from game to game and taking that with me and seeing how defenses are guarding me, learning my teammates, building relationships with them, building that chemistry. That's the best way we can improve. So honestly, I could probably make a long list of the things I've learned. It's just continuing to add to that every day and carry it over. And I think I'm, continuing to do a good job of that.
Then we must discuss the Caitlin Clark effect, which is something that never gets old to me. Ever since Caitlin Clark joined the squad, the team has been leading the league in both home and away attendance because fans simply can't get enough of Clark. To witness all these young children, Clark remarked, "Wow, there are just so many young girls in the world who truly like me." More than 17,600 fans flocked to Atlanta for Caitlin Clark's second visit with the Indiana Fever, setting a second arena attendance record. It's interesting to note that the Atlanta Dream, who typically play in a 3,500-seat arena, moved to the 17700-seat State Farm Arena to accommodate the fans who wanted to see Caitlin Clark.
Mom Moore speaking about Caitlin.
Expect that. Any thoughts at all? Thanks.
I know. Unfortunately, I don't. I love kids. I've loved kids since I was a kid, and so most times if a young person caught my eye, I was going to try to interact with them if I could. I probably have no memories of leaving Caitlin's age, as a 10-year-old and hugging a Cynthia Cooper or Cheryl Swoops. So it's just really, really cool to think about one of those little girls who became Caitlin Clark. So I think it just goes to show you when you just do your best to be in the moment and treat people with kindness, just be present when you can. It really makes a big difference. And looking at type of person and leader that she can be with people was influenced by something that I did. And she can do the same for another little girl, little boy. It's just incredible.
Then we must discuss the Caitlin Clark effect, which is something that never gets old to me. Ever since Caitlin Clark joined the squad, the team has been leading the league in both home and away attendance because fans simply can't get enough of Clark. To witness all these young children, Clark remarked, "Wow, there are just so many young girls in the world who truly like me." More than 17,600 fans flocked to Atlanta for Caitlin Clark's second visit with the Indiana Fever, setting a second arena attendance record. It's interesting to note that the Atlanta Dream, who typically play in a 3,500-seat arena, moved to the 17700-seat State Farm Arena to accommodate the fans who wanted to see Caitlin Clark.
Kind of reminds me she's kind of built like a female version of Scottie Pippen. You see how long and angular she are. She can meet her at the point. She can contest shots without fouling. But look, Caitlin Clark had an unbelievable rookie season. I think a lot of people might be surprised by that. But you don't put up the numbers that she put up in college and not figure it out. She's a gym rat. You can tell she's a gym rat, and she was going to figure it out. She struggled. She's not the first rookie to struggle in their first playoff appearance. So I'm not surprised that she struggled. Give DeWanna Bonner a lot of credit for causing that struggle.
For me, guys, it was a rookie masterclass. When you think about the statistics that Caitlin was able to put up, the way she was able to elevate her teammates, you have to think, Caitlin Clark comes in, the entire offense shifts, the entire offense gets faster. Kelsey Mitchell is running and she is making plays, Aaliyah Boston's making plays, Lexi Hull, the entire team is elevated with the addition of Caitlin Clark. This is an organization that hadn't had a 20-win season since 2015, hasn't been in the playoffs since 2016. And when I talk about a rookie masterclass, yes, Caitlin had to figure it, but she stayed the course.
Since Caitlin Clark is without a doubt the most valuable player in the WNBA, her decision to play overseas will have an impact on the Indiana Fever and the league, but fans will follow her there because she has star power. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and smash the notification. In summary, Caitlin Clark's rookie season was characterized by selling out home and away arenas, breaking records held by rookies and established WNBA stars, and finishing the season in 4th place in the MVP race. Bell, thank you for viewing.